Welcome. We'll give folks a few minutes to jump in. We're actually before the top of the hour. It's not even, we've got 11 o'clock in the east, and we've got, or 11 o'clock in the west and 2 o'clock in the east for those folks who are paying attention to all that good stuff. And we will be with you in just one moment while I do a little admin stuff, get ready for the marathon Q&A. We're here to discuss detoxing from sugar, our 30-day challenge. And that's about it, really. I'll answer any questions about what we do and who we are and how this works and all that good stuff. And you guys answer the question. So here's the, how shall I say, your job, should you decide to accept it, Mr. Phelps. I'm aging myself, I'm sure. Some of you may know that reference. Is to, part of our program is to have the courage to speak up about this. This is a completely anonymous group. You don't have to do anything. You can turn your camera off, but I would prefer, and I think you'll find more value if you turn your camera on when you speak. At the bottom, what you're going to see is a, if you're not a Zoom person and you're on your, it's a little harder on phones. Everyone is different. But if you look at the bottom, you're going to see reactions down there. Okay, you can put a little heart up, or you can put a little thumbs up if you like the answer. But mostly what you're going to see is a raise your hand, okay, where you'll be able to raise your hand. And so you can get in line to speak and ask a question. All right. That's all this is about. Q&A, no slides, no presentation, none of that. It's just getting your questions answered. And we keep adding people every minute here. Now, as for the chat, let me tell you how we're going to run the chat. Someone's going to only be in the chat because they have no camera. That's fine. So you can ask questions in the chat, and I'll try and keep an eye on the chat if you don't want to raise your hand and ask a question. But the simple part of this is I may have to come back to the chat, start at the top, and then go through those questions if we have a good flurry of questions going on when you're raising your hand. So you can start now raising your hands. We're going to give it a few more minutes for folks to come in. Sometimes it takes a minute for the load, the video to load and for them to get in. So we'll give them a couple minutes, but it's only 2 after, so we've got plenty of time. I'll stay on, an hour, hour and a half, whatever we need to get your questions answered about sugar detox, about sugar addiction, about who we are at the Quit Sugar Summit. Any of those questions we'd be happy to answer. So please feel free to start raising your hand and lining up to ask questions with the functions down at the bottom. Now, when we get going, if there's not too many people doing that, it's down there at the bottom under reactions. If you just wave your cursor over it. Again, everyone's phone is a little bit different, but so we're having about, okay, Sarah is the first brave person. So let's follow Sarah. A lot of what happens, and this is really important to know, is that people like the success of our meetings, like the success of our program, meetings and even Q&As don't warm up until the end. Meaning, after everybody goes a little bit, people get a little bit of courage, and it leads to a big flurry at the end and sometimes running out of time. So please, if you have a question already, get it in there and get your hand up and let's talk about it. One of the things I'll do if there's not a lot of hands up, there you go. Nicole's up. Good, good. Keep them coming. Kira, okay, good. So one of the things that I'll do, if there's not a lot of hands up, I'll do what's called Mary. Good, good. I'll do what's called a little mini hot seat. Christine, a little hot seat. In other words, if I find a juicy question or one I think would be relevant to the over 100, almost 50 people here, I will dig in a little with the person, and it might go a little bit long, but I've got time, you know, this afternoon and late morning here in Southern California. So we'll have time. So we're about 4 minutes after. I don't know if I have enough. Yeah, I think I have enough water for the trip here. You guys should always drink good mineral water. Good mineral water is more bioavailable. It's your first lesson. Our first question that you didn't even ask is more bioavailable than supplements and food. And it's amazing, actually. And you need a lot of magnesium and a lot of calcium, but mostly magnesium, because it takes like 5 units or molecules of magnesium to detox 1 of sugar, some crazy number like that. So most of us come in magnesium depleted, and it's very difficult to balance the magnesium and the calcium in supplements. They just don't play well together, okay? So remember that, and drink some good, you know, like Fiji or Evian. Try not to get the plastic if you can. The glass is better. Replace your sodas with it. Replace your teas with it. All right, we're 5 or 6 after. This is when I kick off, and we're ready to rock and roll. Again, the chat may come second because we have good folks who are willing to speak up and ask questions. We're going to try and limit the questions the first time around. I don't think with the amount of people everybody's going to get a second question. So 1 question and follow up maybe, and we'll see. But if it seems like I'm limiting somebody, it's only so that I can get to the next person. Sarah, you're up. Go for it. Unmute yourself and ask the questions.
I watched your whole summit, and I had a question about, you talked a lot about people that are overweight. Well, I'm underweight. I weigh about 86 pounds. And I just have questions about that. I don't have diabetes. I don't have any of that kind of stuff. I do like sweets, and I'm trying to get away from that. I've cut down pretty much, but it's in almost everything you can get these days.
Right.
So my question is, what is the best thing for somebody like me who doesn't want to lose weight, but wants to get off sugar?
No, it's a great question. And the majority of people that come are wanting to lose weight. It's kind of an American thing. It's a diet thing. It's a diet culture thing. But that said, there's a lot of thin, and how tall are you at 86 pounds?
About 5 feet.
5 feet, 86 pounds. Have you always been small like that?
I've always been small, yeah, except when I was a baby.
Yeah, so look, there's nothing unusual about your weight, except one thing. You ever heard the term TOFI?
No.
Thin on the outside, fat on the inside. TOFI, T-O-F-I, okay? TOFI is the fat that you have likely is in your liver and around your organs, okay? And it's compromised. You have any health issues, diabetes or anything like that yet?
No.
That's good. So, but do you have lethargy? I mean, is it not motivated, skin issues, brain fog, that kind of stuff?
No.
All right, so you're just basically doing it for health, which is a wonderful thing. Okay, it's like a real magic to do it for health, and I think there are some tests you might want to take. Your A1C, that kind of like blood glucose when you're ingesting the stuff. You can do it with finger pricks or a CGM, but I want to tell you like a brand new group of people who are surfacing in our groups and our success stories is people who believe that they're underweight because everybody keeps telling them they're too thin, right?
Right.
It's like, it's not, you know, if you ever look at the movies or the newsreels from people that are under, or, you know, in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, whatever, you just don't see any fat people or obese people. It's just not, they're just not there, because our diet system, our world ran into this diet, our food system about 30 or 40 years ago with high fructose corn syrup. So my concern with you really is just your, you know, your TOFI. You need to figure out if possibly you have some fatty liver stuff going on, that you have, you know, fat around your organs. And if it's not causing any other issues, I commend you for trying to quit. So just keep up the good work. And, you know, believe me, I have a marathon runner who is one of our coaches and runs our meetings. And she just never had, I had an Olympic athlete. These women had no problem with their body size or what they looked like. It was all about health for them, is all about health for them. So hang in there, you'll be fine.
Okay.
Just cut out that sugar stuff. All right, Nicole's up next.
Hi, Mike. Hi, all. As you can hear from my accent, I'm actually South African and living in lovely Scotland. I watched your Sugar Summit. Thank you so much. It was amazing. I loved your interview. Very passionate about what you have to share with us. I'm a food scientist, and I'm actually involved in the development of food products which go on the shelves. And I've also been involved with what I call dis-ease in the body. I had adrenal burnout about 6 or 7 years ago. And one of the first things I was told to do was cut out sugar. So very, very difficult thing to do, even as a food scientist, you know, understanding labels and that type of thing on the sugars. So done a lot of research and obviously know the impact of the sugar on your mitochondria and on your microbiome in your gut and how it impacts that. So my question is, as a scientist, it's really difficult to ask this question but what have you found? Because we've done a whole lot of work on replacing sugar with alternatives for sugar. And a lot of people ask the question, okay, if we can't have sugar, which is sucrose, what are the recommended other alternatives that are good for health and obviously good for loss of weight? So obviously at one stage it was fructose for diabetics, but now I know there's a lot of work has been done into that's not a good product. So what other work, like what you've come across that you recommend? I know artificial sweeteners, non-nutritive sweeteners not recommended. And on a replacement, because we can't replace sugar with the other alternatives of non-nutritives. I know I've come across L-allulose recently. I don't know if any recommendations on replacement, stevia, monk fruit, honey.
Okay, so I'm going to count.
Challenge.
I'm going to count how many people I got on, see if I lose a bunch here. Okay, so here's the thing about the sweeteners in the beginning. All right. Now you said this is for health, right? For your health. You have any health issues or weight issues right now?
No, I've got this. I had the same problem as Sarah, actually. I had a smile on my face because I have a problem where everyone tells me I'm too thin, but right. I've never actually had a weight issue where I've moved weight, which is most people kill me for that. But I've got a fast metabolism. But my issue was that I had adrenal burnout, and that affected my health. Okay. And sugar, as we know, is one of the key things that impacts that.
Right. Okay, so
I haven't found to have an alternative.
My goal in life is to have a food scientist like you on staff. Okay. No, seriously. First of all, because the food scientists and the food laboratories won't speak to me.
Okay. Well, you're more than welcome. I'll speak with pleasure at some stage.
And here's the reason: because they earn all of their income from the food companies. Okay. 100%. And so they can't tell me what natural flavorings is, or they won't tell me what it is. I know what it is already now, but you know, they won't tell me what's going on with it, right?
Yeah. So interesting enough is my company, we sell a range of natural flavors.
I'm sure, you know, that.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing. I mean, if you want to be healthy, you have to, I call it adulting around here. I call it a scratch test. And this will be important as we go through the hour and a half we're going to be together, everybody. A scratch test in this regard is very simple, okay? If you were to get a scratch test at a doctor's for an allergy of ragweed or dust or pollen or whatever, you know, shellfish, it doesn't matter. They would scratch your arm and put a Band-Aid over it and to see if it got irritated, right? That's how you do it, okay? Our scratch test is give me 90 days, okay? Give me 90 days of 100% abstinence. And in our program, that abstinence includes no sweeteners. Our goal is to move away from sweet. Dr. Lewis Cantley, the Cantley Lab at Cornell is named after the man. He invented or he discovered some cancer stuff. He's really famous. He's been sugar-free for 40 years. And he says very simply that, and this has been our experience in helping people detox from sugar, is that if you're using artificial sweeteners, if you want what we, and this is going to be prevalent during the hour or two we're together, is wiggle room. If you want to do it your way, it's likely not going to work because I've heard every permutation unknown to man on trying to get around not doing sweets, okay? What happens, and maybe you know this as a food scientist, but within 7 to 10 days, your entire taste buds change. The macadamia nuts will taste like candy. Pepper will taste sweet. Carrots will taste crazy sweet. And if you use artificial sweeteners of any kind, it doesn't matter what they are, your body will say in the next breath, where's the real stuff? Because most of that stuff is mixed together with artificial and real. And so we're trying to reprogram, literally reprogram our nucleus accumbens, our brain reward chemicals. And our brain reward chemicals are notifying or noticing a sweetness, and they want to continue the sweetness that they've learned over decades of indoctrination on their brain reward chemicals. So the answer to your question is no sweeteners, 0 sweeteners for 90 days. And then at the end of 90 days, you use 1 sweetener and see how it treats you in your body, see if it creates cravings, right? Because the stuff that you're going to eat, the whole food that you're going to eat is not going to be something from a bag or a box or a can or a glass that needs to be sweetened, okay? It's going to be whole food. It's not going to come in any prepared or contained stuff. It's going to come in the whole processed way, right? So I don't know if that answered your question, but if you want to send me your email, I'd love to ask you more questions.
Yeah, no problem. Well, we'll do. Yeah, so from the experience that I've done, we've also developed a range of products for the food for children, because it breaks my heart that the children don't have access to good quality products like cereals and stuff on the shelves.
Right.
And we actually made a beverage. We actually added a bit of sparkling water, and we actually added very much against sweeteners, non-nutritive sweeteners.
Right.
And we made it just with a natural flavor. So there was no actual sweetener, sugar in the product, and the kids loved the product. So yeah, there's just for family, I don't know, monk fruits and stevia and honey and I see someone mention dates, which I think is really a good idea as well. Dates as an alternative. But it's very, very difficult. It's a minefield out there.
Yeah, no, I'm going to have to disagree with you. Dates are candy. You can't eat dried fruit on this detox.
Not the dried fruit portion with the dates. So we get the fresher dates and not the ones that are made with sugar and those type of products. But yeah, so it's really is it's a real challenge out there for everyone, I know.
Yeah, no, it's
thank you so much. I really appreciate your feedback. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for bringing it up. Kira's up next.
Hi, thank you so much. Thanks, Mike, for all you're doing. This for me has been almost like I mean, I've wanted this for so long, a community, because I know it's an addiction. I know the emotional part. I'm on day 6. I feel really good. But I wanted to ask you, because I was surprised the other day on a call when you said that like a ginger lime tea, I don't drink that myself, but you said that's high fructose. And I was just thinking, man, there's probably stuff that's got fructose that I don't even realize, like maybe onions. Do you have a list somewhere of kind of which things, like a more detailed list of which certain, like, should we be avoiding peppers, carrots, onions, you know, like, I was just curious if you have a list somewhere.
Yeah, the list you're looking for, we don't have really, but it's a FODMAP list. It's FODMAP, FODMAP. I don't know what, I forget what it stands for, fructose something. And it'll tell you like what foods have high levels of fructose in them. And that's what the intolerance is. That's actually the name of the disease, which is very difficult to diagnose. So you're looking for, and I always say, look, if you want to get off sugar, you got to study fructose. And what you're looking for, what you're describing is a level of fructose in different amounts of food that have all been hybridized, including nuts. They've been hybridized for the sweetness, to take the bitterness out of the greens and the veggies and whatever. And definitely the fruits have been hybridized. And, you know, the short version of your question is you can't eat a lot of fruit on this, maybe some berries, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, when you're having some detox symptoms or whatever to help get you through. But the other stuff, see, the fructose molecule is the same in the fruit and the fruit juices and the dried fruit as it is in the table sugar molecule. Half is glucose and half is fructose, but the molecule is exactly the same. And so when you ingest a lot of this during your detox, you end up with a you know, a craving for the high, I call it the high test, you know, the hard stuff, the real sugar, right? So anyway, there are lists out there, but what you're looking for, if you're concerned, just Google, like, broccoli has a lot of it in it. So if you're worried about Brussels sprouts have a lot in it. You know, these kind of greens have a lot in it. And
They have a lot of fructose?
they do.
Really?
And so you have to be careful a little bit, okay? Now, look, our food plan has all of these things on it. My goal is to move you along from processed, ultra processed to powders. We call it powder addiction, okay? Ultra processed stuff to whole foods. And then we have something around here called borderline foods, which this would fall into. And like our vegetarian friend, it'll work on any diet. You can be a vegetarian, you can be a carnivore, it doesn't matter, as long as you're eating whole food, right? And then after you heal, after you do your scratch test of 90 days, what's going to happen is 1 or 2 or all or some of those things might bother you, okay? You may not be fructose intolerant. You may just have problems with the flours and the sugars, okay? So you have to get off the high test, the hard stuff, the powdered stuff first. And if that stuff, if like a lot of bananas or something like that gives you cravings, stop with the bananas, you know what I mean? But meantime, the first step, the first 30 days is to get off the hard stuff. You know, that's the detox. You know, if you're excited, I'll put it in the chat. You can just go over and take a look at the detox there. You know, what we do. It's quitsugarsummit.com/Mike. But you got to think about this secondarily. Okay. First, you think about the hard stuff, the sugars and the flours and like that. So I hope that helps.
Thank you.
Carrie, you're up next.
Hi. It was kind of answered, I think, with Nicole. I guess I didn't read this whole email. I thought it was just a question and answer with you, not for 30 days. And I was so excited, I just hopped on, but I've actually been doing this since September 1st. So very thankful. I was just wondering about RX sugar and allulose, but that's the first that I heard you talk about after 90 days using one sweetener. So have you seen anybody like that has been off sugar for as long as I have now and then go to allulose? But then I'm a bit
Absolutely.
worried, you know, that I'm in
Absolutely.
Canada and I love a drink in the winter that I used to drink a lot of, and I thought I'll just get one of his syrups and start on that. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And am I gonna start going down that road again? Or like I know he's a sponsor of the summit, which is great, right? Like because the summits are so fabulous. So I don't know, like, are you for the allulose or is it, you know, to
Yeah,
get
let me answer the allulose question and the, you know, the what we call harm reduction here. Okay. So look, my goal is to serve everyone and reduce their sugar in whatever way they want. Okay. The folks here that are doing it for health and massive weight loss and, you know, diabetes 2 and rheumatoid arthritis and thyroid and lupus and, you know, heart disease and all these kind of things that they're having problems with, these folks likely fall in the first third of people who are biochemically addicted to sugar and flour. Okay. These are the folks that are, you know, those are the folks that need the help the most. And if they can get to 90 days, they can test one thing like allulose, or they can test one thing like something, whatever, another sweetener, or a spelt flour or something. They might be in the second group. And the second group is the people who are harmful users. And harmful users likely develop their problems because of the food system itself, right? So the food system itself is 84% of the products in the grocery store have sugar in it, which is a crazy number. But and we ask you to not do that. You're already to the point so that where you can test your body. Okay, you can do your own test. You've healed up enough to test one thing. Don't test 2 or 3 things at the same time. You won't know which is which is good and which is bad, right? So test one thing with that drink you like in the winter, whatever it is, and see if it gives you cravings for sugar. See if it, you know, gives you a hangover, literally a hangover the next day. And if it doesn't, then you may have been a harmful user and not an addict, okay? And so a lot of our folks are harmful users. And then a third of people are normal. They're like a person who can drink half a glass of wine and not worry about it. A person can have half a cookie and not worry about it, okay? So you've done the hard work, and you're staying off the stuff. So now just test one thing at a time, okay? A lot of people get to 90 days, they don't want to test anything. This life and this lifestyle has changed them so much, so substantially in their weight, in their health, in their brain. They don't want to risk it, okay? They want to stay with whole food. But we live in the real world, and a lot of people have, you know, they want to have what they want to have. And so I just suggest you get the 90 days in and then test, okay?
Okay, thanks, Mike. I was not on board with this flour thing when I started in September. I thought
Yeah.
I just want to get off the sugar, but whatever. Mike says 90 days, and I tell you, I feel like $1,000,000. I'm turning 60 in 2 days, and I can work. I'm a nurse, and I work in a busy clinic. And I used to be feeling horrible by the end of the day, putting all these patients in the room. Now it's like no problem. So I am not going back to flour. And I thought after 90 days, I'm going back to flour. Like, forget this noise. But man, I'm not going back. So just talking to you now, I thought, why do I even want to test it? I don't know. So anyway, I don't think I'm going to test it. Okay, thanks. I love this program. Thank you.
Thank you for those folks who, thanks, you know, I'm not paying her. So
No,
it's like,
no. He's not paying me. I want to pay you more. I only paid $97, which is 129 Canadian, and it's been worth every cent and more. I could pay you more even. Yeah,
thank
thanks.
you. All right, Mahela, or Mahela? I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, look, here's the thing. When I say dopamine, gang, I want you to understand that I mean all of the brain reward chemicals in your body, okay? It's an entire constellation: dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, GABA, oxytocin, the bonding chemical that when you lay the baby on your chest or when you hug your husband, this is the bonding chemical. Endorphins, adrenal glands, cannabinoid receptors all through your body and your brain. Okay, this is a constellation of drug and alcohol or brain reward chemicals that help you. And so the answer to your question is what I call wired together, fired together. Okay, meaning chocolate and sugar is basically caffeine and sugar. Tea is basically caffeine and sugar. Coffee is basically caffeine and sugar. Since we were a child drinking soda, eating chocolate, we have had these two drugs wired together, affecting our dopamine system, our brain reward chemical system. And when we eat sugar, when we ingest caffeine, blood is pulled away from our brain, our nucleus, our frontal brain lobe, and pulled back to our more primitive brain. And what's happening, and this is how I discovered this 6 years ago. I was working with an Olympic athlete. She won a bronze medal in the Olympics in swimming. And we were in 3 months. By this time, she was a chiropractor and had a couple of kids. She was in her 40s, and she just couldn't quit sugar. She was still swimming. She was still thin, but I couldn't figure it out. Like, I was kind of new to coaching at that time. And we did an audit. We found out that she'd been drinking coffee since she was 10 years old. Her coaches had her drink coffee, and no child is drink for performance, right? And no child is drinking coffee at 10 years old without a lot of sugar. So her brain was wired to have caffeine and sugar at the same time. And when it got only caffeine, it wanted sugar. And when we got rid of the caffeine, the sugar problem went away. And this is what now that said, 15% approximately, I don't have exact data yet, of our folks can drink black coffee and black tea, okay? I still don't believe that ends well, but I don't know, okay? But 85% of the people do much better and give up the caffeine as well. So it's up to you. There's no rules here. I mean, there's suggestions. And the suggestions are based on thousands of written testimonials of people who have kind of gone through the program, done their scratch test of 90 days, 90 and 90 days, gone to meetings for 90 days, done everything that I tell them. I call it buying into Mikey's little fantasy. And someone on the last one told me I probably shouldn't say it that way, which is probably true. But it's, just try it our way, because most people that come to us have been on some kind of diet, which is a $78 billion industry in the United States, enough money to feed the entirety of the starving people in the world every year. People pay on diets. And the diets have brainwashed us that calories in, calories out means something. You have to know that the problem we're dealing with is our chemical reactions, okay? They're brain reward chemical reactions, and we'll get more into it in other questions. But I hope that answers your question. It's a lot to take in, I know. We actually have a caffeine group with about 500 people in it. Right. Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much. Jen is up next.
Yes, hello. Thank you. Thank you so much for everything you're doing. I really appreciate you repeating the whole 1/3 normie, 1/3 harmful user, 1/3 addict thing, because I think a lot of this kind of depends on where we are in that. I think I'm a harmful user. I'm not sure. I might be an addict, but I did keto for 9 months and I definitely slimmed down. I didn't feel amazing though. But it felt like a diet. like literally needing to be in ketosis, literally needing to count the number of carbs in my broccoli that I was eating, the wagon and gained it all back and more, was because I wanted to eat an apple. And I was like, this is stupid. I can't eat an apple. And so I ate an apple, and then I ate chocolate, and then I ate more chocolate. And right. And now I'm more than I was when I started. Right. And so I guess my question is, how can it not feel like a diet? How can it not feel like you're being so restrictive that you're tempted to binge? Because you've said it's not a diet. It's not about the food, but like all we're talking about is food.
Yeah, that's all everybody talks about in the first, almost a year sometimes, but definitely the first detox. The reason I created the detox, the 30-day detox with all those videos, is because I just couldn't answer the food questions anymore. It's like I just over and over and over, because there's this brainwashed idea that there's pills, shakes, supplements, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, everybody's got food products that they want to give you, sell you, whatever, right? And they want to tell you what to eat, right? And that's not the answer to the question of surviving this. And to answer your question is very simple. You just have to stay with it long enough, which, if you work through the first year of, you guys all know the statistics. This is lore in science, okay? This is like famous stuff in science, right? Where anybody that loses any amount of weight, and you're a perfect example, gains it all back in the first year and then adds some, okay? And here's why that happens, okay? That happens because you get really tough and you go keto and you do whatever you do. It doesn't matter whatever your restriction program is. All of them say no flour, no sugar, right? All diet, South Beach, doesn't matter what you're using. They cut back on that. So what happens is your life is going okay at that point. It's, you're exercising, and the exercise is not burning calories. It's helping you get more dopamine. It's helping you relax. It's helping you manage your emotions. Okay.
Yep.
So then, like 3 months in, 4 months in, 6 months in, 10 months in, you've lost a bunch of weight. Then a financial problem comes up. Then a relationship problem comes up. Then a job problem or a kid problem or something comes up. And we just have not laid in the infrastructure how to deal with that emotional issue, because for our entire life, we have dealt with this emotion, these emotions. Our parents did it to us. They gave us a cookie and headed us towards the TV because they were busy. And we have incorporated in our DNA, literally our brain reward chemicals, not our DNA, but our brain reward chemicals, that this is how unconsciously we handle these problems, okay? And if you don't begin at the beginning of our program and lay in new ways to deal with these emotions through this time period, through the detox and beyond, you are bound to continue doing exactly that, that hamster wheel that you're on, right?
Got it.
It's not, it's not the food you ate. And the answer to your question is, I can say, yes, absolutely, 100%. There will come a time in your life that you can go to any gathering, any wedding, any restaurant, anybody else's house, and not worry about the what you're going to eat, what you can eat. And you have so much variety and so many good whole foods in the world that you can eat, and you will be at peace with saying no to things you can't eat and yes to the things you want to eat. And the beauty of it is that you don't have to eat. You'll be at a place where you'll wake up at 5 o'clock and say, did I eat today? You will not need to eat for 24 straight hours and not even feel hungry, okay? Because you will not have sugar and flour withdrawals, okay? There won't be any anxiousness around it, okay? So, and I'm living proof. Hundreds and thousands of people in our groups are living proof. You do not need this constant drip, because your stomach, think about it, your stomach is your delivery system, right? Your stomach is your delivery system of these drugs. And when you don't have them, they act up, and acting up is growling and needing more, right? And when they're gone, that is not the response human beings have to food, just not the response. It's different. It's different. It's weird, but it's different. So please, take faith, have faith. If you're not in the challenge, just do the challenge and listen to the folks. There's 16 meetings a week right now, and you're never more than 2 hours away from talking to a coach or somebody, or another 30 people are doing the same thing you're doing. So.
Got it. So if I can just summarize, then it sounds like you're saying that it's might feel like a diet and quite restrictive at the beginning, but once you do those 90 days and you physically get your body off of the craving for fructose, then you will be able to, then you won't be craving it. But then once you do have certain emotional challenges, you will have some sort of a mental craving for it because you're used to using sugar as your medicine for numbing your emotional pain, like your co-host was saying, but then at that point you learn other skills. And is there a program of yours that talks about then how to identify why?
Absolutely. We have, in the Detox to Lifestyle, which is kind of the next program, is we have emotional meetings. We have dealing with your emotions, dealing with old traumas, meditation meetings. We have all kind of stuff that are like helping you. We call it effort-based dopamine versus substance-based dopamine. Remember, again, dopamine means all of the brain reward chemicals, right? For 10 million years, we have evolved for two things: the dopamine system, the brain reward chemical system, that is to find food and find sex, to procreate the species, to stay alive, to survive, okay? And when we end up in this situation where our bodies ran into this food system, by no fault of yours or mine, it happened over 300 years. It's just not even something you need to concern yourself with, but just concern yourself that it actually happened, that's where we are. And that when you end up in this situation, you have to take responsibility for it. Okay. You have to take responsibility for this is the reality. I'm not trying to change reality. I'm just trying to guide you through the reality that's happening to your biochemical system. Okay. That's all I'm doing. Right. And so I don't know if I answered the question. I got a little sidetracked there, but. All right. I think Jen froze. So we're going to go on to Mary.
I think so. Thanks so much. So I guess my very last question is okay.
Hi.
You put yourself on mute there, Jen. And effort-based dopamine versus substance-based dopamine means very simply that you have to go walk, run, go to yoga, do something besides. We learned how to hack eating a substance, right? And so internet connection is unstable. Hopefully that's you, Jen. You guys can hear me. All righty, Mary, you're up, and I'll go over that more if it's not clear. Go ahead, Mary.
Hi. Yeah, I've been at this for quite a long while, and I'm doing pretty good. I did just exactly what you just talked about. I lost a whole bunch. I just followed common sense, no sugar, and I lost a lot of weight, and then I became very, comfortable with that weight, and then I gained it back. So here I am listening again because I didn't win. I lost in the end. I have a specific question because since I regained, I've substituted some of my food rather than only whole food and only sugar-free. But I've substituted these keto chocolate things and this zero sugar Chobani yogurt. And I brought those in, but now I'm getting the impression that that's not okay either.
That's just crap. That's just garbage. Do not eat that stuff. Look, it's a real simple program. And you're a classic example of people who don't lay in the second part of the program.
Yeah.
Meaning you detoxed or you did keto or whatever. you lost the weight, your life was okay, then it creeped back in. So what you're looking at here is like real food.
Right.
It cannot come from a bag of box. If it has a label, you can't eat it. Okay. Bags, boxes, cans, whatever. You can't eat it. But it's only for 90 days. Guys, you've raised children, you've birthed children, you've got advanced degrees, you've done hard things in your life, okay? Just buy into my little fantasy of 90 days and do your own scratch test of eating whole food. I created a new, what do they call that thing? Like a SAWS, sleep, abstinence, walk, water, and support. Those are the meetings. It's SAWS with 2 W's, sleep, abstinence from sugar and flour, walking, water, and support. If you can do that for 90 days, and you're not doing it alone, you're doing it with thousands of other people, literally thousands of other people. And you can ask and make friends of people that are doing this. So please just try it for a little bit, okay? Because what you're describing is what I call, and look, I'm the furthest thing from tough love, guys. I'm not one of these. This is not a boot camp, okay? This is if it's anything, it's a brain camp, okay? It's an emotions camp, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not going to try and like get down and give me 20 push-ups. But what I am going to do is I'm going to hold you accountable. My group and my friends and my coaches and my people are going to hold you accountable for 90 days. You try it this way. Okay. You carried a baby for 9 months. Okay. You only got to do this for 90 days. And then you make the decision. Don't let me make the decision for you. And the people that you see in there with all the success stories that you see at that page there, quitsugarsummit.com/Mike, with all the weight loss, those folks ended up just doing it, just buying in for 90 days because they were just so tired of diets and going up and down like you're talking about. So anyway, I don't want to get on my soapbox, but please, you're willing, Mary, you're in a perfect place for this. So give it a whirl.
Yeah, I will.
Cynthia, you're up next. Good job on the keeping the hands up, and I'm going to run through these. How many? I'm going to run through the chat in a minute, but go ahead, Cynthia. Can you hear me, Cynthia? You're on mute still if you can hear me. We have your last name on the thing, so I can use Cynthia Simmons. Can you hear me? If you're on a phone, I can't tell you. If you wave your cursor over the thing, you'll see a mute button down on the left-hand side. It says mute, and you turn it on and off. All right, when you find it, raise your, or I'll leave your hand up. If you find it, just blurt it out. Evie, you're up next.
Hi.
Hi there.
Okay, so your 90-day program, does it teach you or help you understand the addiction to sugar?
110%. Today, I've been sober for 38 years, guys. This program this is my anniversary. It's strange, but this is the only way I would love to celebrate it. This program comes from the constructs of addictive process. I used to be the chairman of the Food Addiction Institute, where we had MDs and PhDs. What separates us from the diets, what separates us from all of the programs out there, is our focus on addiction, on peer recovery, on harm reduction, constructs that came from the world of addiction, okay? And there's a common construct in the world of alcohol and drugs that if you started using drugs and alcohol at 14 or 15, you stopped growing emotionally. Think about that for a minute and extrapolate it to sugar. If you're 2 and 3 years old and you're crying and your mother gives you sugar and just to stop you, you learn deep in your soul and your limbic brain that sugar will momentarily make you feel better. But like any drug, 20 minutes later, you got to chase it again. Okay. And so, yes, 110%, this is a program. And at the end of the day, this is a substance use disorder, which is the non-stigmatized new language for addiction. Okay. At the bottom line, that's what this is, a substance use disorder. And that's why we have so much success, because of your question. So I hope that cleared it up.
Well,
And if you have any other questions.
well, I just, I quit drinking almost 4 years ago. And then 2 weeks later, I quit smoking.
Yep.
And I think that was like the worst thing I could have done, because pretty soon I was doing a whole line of Oreo cookies.
Yeah.
And a year later, I was diagnosed as a diabetic. So this month is going to be 3 years that I am a diabetic, and it's taken, and I wanted to reverse that. I've gotten my A1C down to 5.5. I am trying to understand Adam McArnold's book on the addictions of afflictions. It's like I quit drinking, I quit smoking. How come I can't quit sugar? I'm looking forward to Lent again so that I can give it up again. And then come Easter Sunday, I'll treat myself with something sweet. The cycle just goes on and on.
Yeah, no, look, we've got I'm just guessing now. We got 3 coaches, 4, including myself, who are recovering folks. We've got hundreds of people, maybe, 300 or 400 people who have all got sober, and they couldn't put down the sugar for decades, some of them. Okay. And I believe that you and me and the people from recovery, from addiction recovery of drugs and alcohol, are the answer to the obesity crisis, not the dietitians, not the weight trainers, not the exercise gurus, not the pill shakers, the pill sellers and the shake sellers and the food sellers, but the addiction folks. You are my favorite client, because I don't have to explain addiction to you. And a lot of people that come in, they're brainwashed by the $78 billion diet industry that somehow this is about eat less and exercise more, when that's the furthest thing from the truth. Okay. You're in a situation that, you'll jump in the challenge and you'll rock it right through this, because you'll understand the support system. You'll understand what's going on. So welcome. And, hope to see you on the meetings real quick. So.
Okay, I'm back. Cindy.
Okay. Cynthia, go for it.
Okay. All right. I'm in remission for a year from cancer. And
oh, okay, good.
Yeah. And I'm just wondering, is it fructose or sucrose? Is it all sugar that attributes to the growth of cancer? Should I eliminate sugar completely, or what should I be doing?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. Thank you for asking it. It's like, I try not to be, I'm not a doctor. I'm just a garden variety addict who's helping other addicts. But my man, I've interviewed over 400 scientists, and my man, Richard Cantley, that I mentioned before from Cornell University, who discovered a cancer causing gene, I can't remember the name of it, but anyway, I asked him to do sound bites for me. And I said, I said, Richard, does sugar cause, let me see. Richard, does sugar cause cancer? And he said, Michael, sugar causes cancer. I said, can you say that again so I could get it on tape? And he says, Michael, sugar causes cancer. The Cantley Lab, Cornell University, is named after.
Okay.
The question, according to the science and the scientist, is yes. And
So
I believe it. There is a discrepancy out there, back and forth, but I do believe that, yes. And
so eliminate all sugar.
Yes, and especially fructose.
Okay.
If you want, again, gang, you want to get off sugar, study fructose. Corinne, excuse me, you're up next.
Hi. So I am fairly new to this. I just started this week, and I'm at the point of my major job is to open your emails. And a couple questions. I have a long history with sugar and such, and I've finally come to the point that I need to give it up for good. The flour, however, I'm still having a problem wrapping my head around. I understand it's really important to do during the detox. So one of my questions is, and like after 30, 60, or 90 days, can you start trying out flour to see if it might work for you? For instance, like bean pastas, lentil pastas, things like that. Or is it so tied into sugar that I really have to get myself to feel like flour is really going to be out forever too? And then I also have a vacation next week. So I'm going to wait till I get back from the vacation to start the hardcore, but I'm trying right now to eat whole foods. And I'm basically trying to do it, but I realize on vacation, there's probably going to be some exceptions.
Yeah, no problem. Look, there's two answers to your question. One is, again, these are suggestions from our success, not a boot camp where you got to do it or you get, what is it?
Well, I guess I don't want to fall back into being addicted, and I realize moderation doesn't work, and I realize I need to give up the sugar part, but is there some leeway there?
I get a lot of pushback again, like the sweeteners on the flour stuff from new people. Okay. It's not really the flour itself. It's the processing. It increases the surface area. It is immediately ingested or taken up in your bloodstream from the mouth, literally, but definitely from the stomach. And it just turns into sugar right away. It turns right into sugar. Okay. And it begins the craving cycle all over again. The only answer to your question, the biodiverse answer, is that you give me 90 days, no sugar, no flour. And then you do your spelt flour, you do your bean pasta flour, whatever. On that day, I can guarantee you, if you were diligent in your 90 days of abstinence, that you will be high for about 20 minutes. You will have hunger pangs. You will have a headache. You might sweat at night, and you'll have a hangover the next day. I can almost guarantee it. As this happened, I've done this hundreds and thousands of times. But only you can do this, okay? Only you can. Some people, they do sugar for 90 days. Then they do flour next. Everybody's got a different kind of combination they do it in, right? My job, when I did this, it took me a year to get off caffeine, a year to get off sugar, a year to get off flour. I had nobody to talk to. I'm trying to shortcut that for you and trying to show you exactly how to do this without, spending 3 years doing it. And so I want this is common through all the literature, that the answer to your question, again, and I'm not shaming you. I just want to be, your coach. I'm a little tough on this part because I know it works. And what you're asking for is wiggle room. Okay. And you're projecting into the future too far. Okay. Just no flour, no sugar today. And then no sugar, flour, and sugar today, the next day. And that's it. Just try it. Okay. And see how you do. See how fast you feel different. Okay. See how fast you change. Okay. So again, if you're new to this thing and then you got to go on a trip and stuff, if you're in those meetings, there's 16 meetings, there's 3 meetings on Thursdays and Fridays, 2 meetings every other day of the week. Okay. You will start to see people who have this exact same or had this exact same issue, and they'll tell you exactly what happened. And they'll tell you that I tried to not do it without flour, but I couldn't do it. And so I'm just trying to take all that we've known, all we've learned over a decade of doing this and get it to you quickly. So it's up to you. I'm not your, drill instructor, but I I do want to
No,
help.
I really appreciate hearing your experience with so many people. And it sounds like I really need to wrap my head around giving up flour too. So.
Yes. Okay. So we've got 6 people in. We're at 1 hour. I'm fine with going a little bit longer. If you want to jump over to the challenge, there it is. quitsugarsummit.com/Mike. I'm going to run kind of fast through the, I don't mean, I'm not putting you guys on hold. I will answer all your questions, but I think it only fair that I run a little bit through the chat. David wants to know, we sign up for anything with you. Do you share or sell our contact email information to other companies? Absolutely not. It's all private. It's, you know, we're definitely very strict about that, David. So no worries. Thanks, Gail, reminding me to push record, but I think Dave already did that. So that's good. I am plant-based. Does this program work for those that are plant-based diet? Yes, absolutely works for plant-based folks. Or carnivore or anywhere in between. Deborah. All right. I don't know what to substitute for sugar. I'm ashamed to say that sugar is my fun, my reward, my hard day. Like your mother, I would rather eat more than most foods. Crazy while trying to go cold turkey. Christine, I can understand how you feel with all this, but look, again, you've got to, for health reasons, you got to give this a try. Okay, please give it a whirl. The Zoom user direct messaged me, so there's no name, but if you want to move the direct message to everyone, what do you do if you're an emotional eater? I'm not on Facebook, but need to connect with others. We've got over 1,000 people in a group off of Facebook, Zoom user, over 1,000 people that are doing exactly what's going on in Facebook, and they're committed because they've all paid. Okay, much different than the Facebook group, which is free. Okay, so you know, we try and do our best on that Facebook group, but the one that we have 1,000 people in a platform that is not Facebook, and it's really it's even more magic than the Facebook group. Candy sees, I rarely see practitioners recommend absorption of magnesium through the skin, spending time in seawater walking. Candy, that's a look. You know, people that are detoxing from sugar need a lot of magnesium. And one of the best ways to take it is through the foot soak or regular soak or the creams, the magnesium creams that you put on your legs, because you get a lot of restless leg when you detox from sugar. So magnesium supplementation, which is one of the rare few supplements I would suggest, is best through a soak or through a cream. So there you go. Christine, by the way, I'm at work and can't do the audio in the chat. That's cool. David, when does the 30-day program start? David, it is self-paced. As soon as you sign up, there'll be emails that come to you every day, and you can just sign into the program and watch them. You can binge through the first week, which is a prep week, or you can watch it every day. I would suggest doing it once a day and easing into it. And then they come every day, or you can watch a video every day. A lot of people go revisit it 2 months later and learn new stuff. And what about natural sugars found in fruits like watermelon, grapes? Those, the first 3 you mentioned, and the first 4 you mentioned, are some of the highest fructose things on the market: watermelon, grapes, apples, bananas. It's just fructose, gang. It's really high fructose stuff. And the fructose molecule is same as the table sugar molecule is half glucose, half fructose, right? And so you're in a situation where you're just getting almost straight fructose, and it keeps, here's the thing, people talk about having peace in the future. This is literally a situation where you want to not have cravings. What the hell good is getting off of sugar if you're always craving it? You're just like, waste of time. Like, you want to have peace. You want to not think about it. Just think about how much of your day is taken up with, should I have it? Shouldn't I have it? Did I eat this? How many calories? Like, it's 2 or 3 hours a day that you're thinking about it. You want that peace. And again, if you can get those 90 days in, then try banana. Try a couple grapes. I mean, look at grapes. Grapes are seedless, right? These are like hybridized sugar bombs, all right? All right. I heard date syrup is better than honey. No, date syrup is worse because it's higher in fructose than even sugar. Okay. And honey's even worse. And most honey has high fructose. Natural fruit sugars are good in moderation. Lee, I'm going to have to disagree with that. And, you're going to have to do it your way, but I'm doing this for health. Okay. And I'm doing it for the, over 200 people on these line for health. Okay. FODMAP sounds, oh, thank you, Nancy. Fermentable saccharide, disaccharide, monosaccharide, and polysaccharide, which is short chain carbohydrates, sugars, and the small intestine absorbs poorly. Thank you, Nancy. Homemade tomato sauce from my garden, no sugar added. Tomatoes are fruit, first of all. When you cook tomatoes, you're literally making high fructose corn syrup. So you have to be careful there, okay? Be careful. Nori, okay, I'm confused. There's no guideline as to what is okay and what's not okay and avoiding during the 90 days. There's absolutely that. My book has it. The course has it. The entire diet plan, anything you want, it's all in there. Nori. I may have missed this as I came on a little late, but how long do you suggest the detox is? Okay, the original detox, as you can see there, Quit Sugar Summit /Mike, is 30 days. But then there's ways to go on if you want. But I would say 90 days to really heal, to really get feeling better. What does it cost to 30, 60, 90 work with you? It's $97 for the first part of it. And then if you want more, then you can get more. But to get the detox done, the 30 days is 90 days. Somebody needs to be muted, if you would please do that. Really help. I'm going to have to. Okay.
Wait.
All right. So jump in. I'm going to have to find the offender here. Hold on one second.
Sorry.
It's Pam Arsenal that needs to be muted.
Dave, are you
Marilyn Wright?
You didn't make
Marilyn Wright.
You didn't make me co-host, Dave. I cannot mute people.
Oh, okay, well, that's what I thought it was. Somebody, ring the bell and then they.
Dave, are you around?
I don't remember what I ordered.
Dave, you didn't make me co-host. I can't mute.
Have a good one.
I can find people, but I can't mute, Dave. Please. All right, let's get back to the questions. I answered a bunch of those. There's a bunch more. I've been addicted to sugar since a young child, a Zoom user, 42 now, still addicted. It ruins me. I'm overcome every drug and alcohol. Sugar is something else. Yeah, it's hard. Like I said, we've got hundreds of recovering people. 30-day detox. Jen, I drink only black coffee. All right. So 97 includes materials for 1 year access. Thank you, Nancy. All right, let's go back to the people that are raising their hand and having a little courage here. Barb, you're up next.
Mute. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I may have missed it because I came in late too, but yesterday was Valentine's Day.
Yes.
And what do you do with, let's call it the swag that people have given you that is all, you can't eat it?
Yeah. No, it's not easy. Look, I mean, part of the recovery from this is a codependent recovery, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, and that is you need to set boundaries with your friends, family, and workmates and such that, and pretty soon your reputation will precede you and they won't buy it for you. But at the beginning, you do need, and we don't suggest like you don't go in like a stormtrooper, you don't go in guns blazing, you just ease into it and you take it, you protect and help yourself and put your own oxygen mask on first, right? But it does take time to build we have an entire module of people who have done this, and so, it's it's hard. I'll be honest with you. That's a hard part of it. The social aspect of this, the pushers, I call them, the food pushers, the candy pushers, the sugar pushers, who like say, "Oh, come on, I baked this for you. Come on, blah blah blah." That's a problem. You know what I mean? That's a real problem. And we have a lot of solution and a ton of support of people. A lot of people come into our group and their spouse is not on board, right? Their spouse is not doing this, and they end up like having to have they wave it in front. They do nasty stuff. So wave it in their face and stuff, bring it in the house. But it is all possible. All those people have had success doing it. So don't worry about it. We can get you through it.
And I have another question or two. My seaweed label, when I checked it, had no sugar in the label. I got it home and I happened to be reading the ingredients, and it had organic cane sugar as the very last ingredient.
Right.
How can they do that? Or
That's
is
a
that
food scientist? I don't know, but it happens all the time. Have you ever guys tried the I shouldn't mention it, names, but LaCroix or Perrier lemon and lime or whatever, raspberry? These things taste so sweet that it's just crazy. I don't know how they do it. And they say no sugar, and then they have flavoring added or something.
Oh,
Anyway, it's playing with your brain. You gotta be really diligent in the grocery store.
and last question. What is your definition of ultra processed food versus maybe processed food? And then, of course, I know what whole food is.
I call it a powder addiction, literally. And I'm going to do some work on this too. Is that anything's ever been reduced to a powder, you can't eat for now, during the detox, right? And then, till you heal up enough that your body can tell you the answer,
Okay.
because your body will tell you the answer after you're healed. It can't tell now because there's so much inflammation. I mean, I'm working on this new construct I call internal cutting. And think about people that cut. They literally drag a razor across their arm, right? Well, Prozac and Tums, these are, if you combine them with the prescription and non-prescription, if not one of the top 3 most prescribed or used drugs in the world. And people are ingesting something, causing pain, and then taking the antidote. And after you guys have all watched the summit, the inflammation caused by sugar in your joints and everything in your body. And you are unwilling, and again, I'm not shaming, I'm trying to point out reality, accepting reality as reality is, and you're ending up like creating an internal cutting, and the internal pain that you're creating, the inflammation you're creating, again, lights up that dopamine, that brain reward chemical stuff, and bam, 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 off we go again, right? So just be careful,
Okay.
try and get that healing in. Once you get the healing in your body, you will be able to make your own decisions about it. Mary's up next, Mary M.
In Arizona, and I'm on day 4. But I did, prior to buying the program, I did my own detox. So I had quite a week of detox, not feeling so great. But I'm better today. The thing I'm getting out of this this Zoom today, which is invaluable, is that I didn't understand with whole foods. When you mentioned that broccoli and Brussels sprouts have sugar in them, are you suggesting that that's part of the detox, that you avoid those particular vegetables?
No, sorry, I wasn't clear. Look, they just have fructose in them, okay? And you can eat those things during the detox, and plenty of them, because that, I think the combination of greens and fructose during the detox is a little bit of a step down. What I'm describing I'm trying what I call a fructose zero diet, because I believe in Richard Johnson, who's one of the most preeminent fructose researchers in the world, that, we were only supposed to have fructose once or twice a year. There's no bodily function that requires fructose. but things have been hybridized. Fruits and vegetables have been hybridized to have fructose in it. You're never going to go from where the standard American diet to what I'm doing. It's just never going to happen. Not right away. The detox would be too miserable. So you've got to have some level of step down, and heavy. And I think greens are really good for you in the early days, the first, 3 or 4 months. It's fine. But your body will tell you after that, after you heal up from the hard stuff, the processed stuff, the sugars and the flours, the white powder stuff, whether or not something bothers you. As I mentioned earlier, we have something called borderline foods, and borderline foods are a category of 4 different foods that are become problematic after people heal and create cravings. So yeah, don't worry about it. Greens are good. Greens are good in the beginning.
Okay, and I highly recommend the Zoom meetings. I've done 2 a day since I started. I know I'm just day 4, but I'm all into the meetings, and I am by nature, I'm a behavioral health social worker, so I know a lot about the biochemical stuff, and I look forward to continuing the program.
Thanks, Mary. I appreciate it. All right, Diane's up. Diane, why?
Hey,
Hey.
unfortunately, my battery's about to die.
Okay.
And I'm not sure y'all will be able to hear me. I'm outside. I'm just starting the program. Mike, congratulations on 38 years. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. I just wonder what you find joy now compared to where you were when you started. Like,
are you asking me what I define joy, or how do I find joy?
Yeah. Because I'm thinking of that. I'm thinking of the things that bring me joy now include sugar and alcohol and so many of the things I do. And I'm just wondering, how have you replaced that in your life?
Oh
What
my
joy?
God, it goes on and on. My beautiful twin sons, and now I'm going to be a grandfather in a couple of weeks here.
Awesome.
I exercise a lot. I eat wonderful, beautiful food all the time. I travel a lot. My life is a dream come true compared to my family of origin, who are still mired in addiction in a lot of ways. I would take hours to do this. You know what I mean? That's
okay.
Like, it's a look when you detox and you're not, it's like literally you come back to yourself, if that makes sense. Okay. You come back to yourself, meaning all of us have manipulated our brain reward chemicals via substances. And when we start doing it via efforts, getting a hug or watching a sunset, we've healed up from the one thing, and now we're starting to make the things that really matter. We get a deeper feeling of them. Your children, your spouse, your beauty, art, music, these things touch you more. They actually give you a better feeling, a better high than when you were using drugs or sugar. You know what I mean? Anyway, it's a great question.
Hey, I think it's all better with those things. I enjoy all those things. And I enjoy happy hour every night watching the sunset.
My question to you is, how do you know?
How do I know what?
How do you know how you would feel without them?
I don't.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I've ever experienced that.
Okay.
Well, kind of. I mean, I've tried to, I do sit out and enjoy the sunset, and I enjoy listening to music without anything else. But I just find
you're quote unquote on it. You have literally, this is a true scientific fact, you have downregulated your dopamine receptors. You have thinned them out. You have less of them. This is the body reward chemical. Remember that all drugs and alcohol are only the catalyst to pump those bodily things. You're moving that drug, that dopamine via the substance, and you have less receptors. were those receptors to heal? How do you know that the euphoria of that sunset or that music might be better?
Don't. So, what do you think?
The logic of it all is,
Question.
if all of this is true, or maybe it's true, just look at the health benefits is all I'm saying.
Okay, there you go. I think that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
I feel like I almost need to go to bed for night
Yeah, you wouldn't be alone.
so that I don't get so
A lot of
I
people
don't
ask me, when am I going to open
crap.
my treatment center? So yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm really going to try to do this because I want.
Please, we'd love to have you.
Yeah.
I like intellectual conversations like this. They'll be great. Bring them on. All righty.
Thank
Corinne,
you.
you're up next, Corinne. Corinne Brown. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I have been having memory problems, and I'm wondering, and it's something I've had a lot. Like I was a sugar addict for most of my life, and I'm wondering if sugar has anything to do with it. That
My goodness gracious, yes, absolutely. Look, so here's a true fact. Okay, we've done surveys, right, of all of our, matter of fact, survey came out yesterday from my friend there, my mentor there, Richard Johnson, the fructose guy, about fructose and Alzheimer's. Okay, my mother died of Alzheimer's. She didn't die of Alzheimer's. She died of sugar addiction. Okay, like when someone loses 200 pounds and falls to a right-sized body for them, those people do not say anything about the food or the exercise or anything. The survey says that, like, weight loss is number 3 or 4, is that their brain came back online. They could remember better. They could process better. They could focus better. They're not irritable. They're not angry. Like literally, this is a change. What you have, what we all have, is metabolic syndrome of the brain. Okay. We literally have metabolic syndrome of the brain. All right. And yes, sugar affects your brain. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that anymore scientifically. So yeah, you would be shocked at how your memory changes after 90 days. You would be shocked. So, all right.
Okay.
Allie's up next.
Hi, Mike. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I don't quite understand how the program works.
Okay.
Are we all supposed to be doing this on the same schedule?
No, it's not required at all. It's a self-paced 30 days that you can come back to again and again. But we have meetings, 2 meetings every single day, 3 on Thursday and Fridays, because the weekend's coming, right? And you just plug in, watch the videos every day for 30 days to get the detox done. Watch the core videos so that they're bigger lessons or what have you. And, you just join in the tribe, right? And you'll see all these folks that are doing this with you. Okay. So yeah, no, there's no time limit or set time that you have to do it.
Now, where do you see all this? On school? Is that?
Yes, on school. Under the classroom and calendar tabs.
And there was supposed to be books. How do you access the books?
They're also on the left-hand side in the menu. You can see them.
Okay. And then after the 30 days, do you stay on school or?
Yeah, you absolutely stay on school and just look to the calendar to what meetings you want to go to.
Okay. Okay. And then I signed up for something else. It was the workshops with you or something like that.
Yeah. So if you signed up for if you signed up for that, then all you have to do is currently on Tuesday and Wednesday, and by next week it'll be every day of the week. There'll be an additional meeting that you can go to that's themed, usually either question and answer, emotions, meditation, just kind of the advanced stuff after you get 30 days under your belt.
Are those videos or actually live things?
It's both. Some are recorded and then you can watch the replays, and some are not recorded like the regular meetings. Just so everyone knows, the regular meetings are not recorded, so you can feel comfortable that no one's going to hear anything about what's going on with you. Very, very anonymous, very, very friendly.
So has this started? Have I missed some already?
No, you haven't missed anything. It's all been going on for years.
Oh, so it's just ongoing.
Yeah, all you have to do is plug in. Just go to your videos on school and start with, what day are you on? How long have you been around?
Well, I just signed up after that broadcast.
Okay.
And I haven't really done anything yet. I just got on school, but I haven't really read anything yet.
Yeah, just go to video 1 on the detox and start your process.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
Thank you. All righty, who's next? Oh, let me hold on a second. I'm going to go run down just a bunch of these questions because they're getting piled up. It says I have 41 messages. I'm like, that can't be possible. Paul Saldino on YouTube doesn't think ketosis is always good. He tried being carnivore for a while, but had muscle cramps, etc. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that either. I mean, I think he's probably right. Yeah, I think he's wrong about the fruit. I don't think he understands that much about the fructose part of it, and I think that he is possibly still needing the fructose. It does help your digestion a little bit when you're eating like a carnivore like he does, but anyway. Well, one of the things I would suggest is don't research during the detox, just do one thing and try and get there. Patrice, I finally get it. We were connected for 1 year and the support we asked for. Thank you. Terrific plan. To your teammates in Wyoming. Yeah, one of our coaches lives in Wyoming, actually. Are you saying we can never eat another apple or banana? No, David, that's not exactly what I'm saying. Like, it's a you gotta get through the detox, you gotta heal up, and then try one banana or one apple. I think this is amazing, extremely helpful. You have community groups and support at the Quit Sugar Summit. This is a game changer to help people. Thank you, Nicole. All right, people are busy writing in the chat. They don't appear to be listening, or they would be asking questions that are coming up. Thanks, Sharon. So true. Chat is distracting. That's why I'm going back and forth. Zoom users been in recovery 15 years from substance use. Sugar has been the hardest. That's the exact same thing every recovering alcoholic and addict says to me. Zoom user, whoever you are. It has been reported that sugar is more addictive than cocaine. Yep. Okay, so there's a lot of comments, not too many questions. I'll come back to these in a minute. Debbie's up.
Hi, Mike. I've been following you for a long time, and I have to give you credit. About a year ago, I started a program, Bright Line Eating, along with listening to the Quit Sugar Summit. And I've been off sugar for a year in January.
Right.
Sugar and flour.
Congrats.
And I'm very happy. And I did your 30-day detox the end of the year, beginning of January. And I was just kind of curious, the new do I need, what is it that I need to do? I like to stay close to people that are like-minded, but I'm not sure I need another detox because I've detoxed. So I guess I'm just asking, what are your thoughts on how to continue?
We have a program called Detox to Lifestyle, which is also $97 that you can go to. And if you send me an email at info@Sugar Addiction, I'll send you that link. And that plugs you into all of the meetings. And plus you get to you get all the new meetings, which is about 7 a week currently, or will be next week. And this is more advanced. Like, I run 2 meetings. The main one that started this is on Wednesdays, where we end up talking about really emotions and stuff, and really it's people's lives as they progress towards making this simple and easy in a lifestyle. Okay, And it's really a wonderful group. We have a lot of people from Susan's groups in our program because one thing for them didn't work out or whatever. They liked us better or she liked, people go back and forth, but it's a great group and we can get you involved in that too.
And it's called again?
Detox to
Tell me the
Lifestyle.
name. Okay.
Detox to
All right.
And that's going to be
Okay,
bigger growing groups that we have because look, we can detox all the people in the world, but if they don't go from days 30 to 365 with us or with someone with some sort of, if they don't stay plugged into a support system of some sort, they're not going to make it in the long term.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you. You really, your Quit Sugar Summits just did it for me. I really appreciate it. So I just want to thank you.
Thank you. It's always great to hear. Thank you. All
Thank
right. We have Marilyn up next.
Hello. I didn't get in here until about a little bit ago.
Yeah.
I don't drink, I don't smoke, never have. I'm wondering let me just run through a couple things and see if did you mention you can't have caffeine?
No, not that you can't have it. It's that.
No, I don't mean, but in your detox, say your first 30 to 90 days. So
it's one of the suggestions because it's an antagonist to the dopamine and everything, and it just keeps your cravings alive.
Oh, really? I haven't noticed that. Okay, honey's out. What about almond milk or coconut milk?
See,
in coffee. I mean, I didn't hear all your things you're supposed to.
Yeah, there's no way I can name them all. But
no, I understand that.
The bottom line is that if it comes in a bag or a box or a can in the first 30, 60 or 90 days, you can't eat it. You have to eat whole food. You have to eat food that was.
Okay. So you are potatoes, carrots and blueberries okay? Because I know potatoes are starchy and carrots are starchy. I do collagen. So collagen is out then.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Supplements are completely another topic, but like
because I take supplements, I do no medication whatsoever.
That's good. But yeah, the veggies and potatoes you mentioned, everybody is it treats everybody a little bit differently. Okay, so you have to be careful there. But yes, on the original plan, they're fine, but if they start to give you trouble, you have to keep an eye out for it for keeping cravings alive. So,
okay. So in other words, that is because I had food sensitivities, and I'm pretty much aware of my body when it's, because it doesn't necessarily react right that day, but a couple days later, I just feel different. And, all right. So, okay, well, I'll try
check out the program. You'll see all of these answers in all of the literature and everything and all the videos.
And that's for the $97. I didn't hear.
Yes.
And okay. Because I'm not an alcoholic or drug addict or, I didn't know whether when I heard people saying that, and I know they can go together because it's an addiction. So sugar is definitely an addiction.
Yeah, you don't have to be an alcoholic or drug addict to be a sugar addict, believe me.
Oh, no, I know, but I'm pretty good right now.
Cool.
As far as feeling very calm and I used to deal with a lot of depression. I don't do medication, doesn't work for me. And but I was healed of that about a little over 2 years ago. So I know what joy is. I know the difference between joy and, anyway.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Joanne's up next.
Hi, Mike. I'm on my 5th day and I'm celiac and hypothyroid. My thyroid has gone from hypo to hyper, and I've had my medication changed 3 times since October. Anyways, so it was down to 0.1. It's supposed to be 3.5 to 5. So one of my questions around that is I read somewhere that said, is this a good time to be doing this?
What do you mean by that? I don't understand.
Well, like, I guess my weight has dropped and quite like a lot. And I'm just kind of getting leveled out in the last week or 10 days. And there's been a death in my family. And I'm up and down and starting to have a lot of emotions. And I realize that that's from dropping the sugar.
Yeah.
I think it is, you know. I tried to do this on my own since Christmas and finally just bit the bullet and said, well, I can't do this alone, because I've listened to your summit the last 3 years and wanted to get educated about sugar, but I just knew my heart. I wasn't ready to give it my all.
Right.
So I'm definitely ready to give it my all, but I have some reservations around what I'll eat for protein, because I was eating like nut butters and mostly a plant diet, a bit of chicken and fish once in a while. And the other thing that you mentioned, and I hope I don't sound too scattered, but anyways, is the collagen. So I've lost size as well as weight. So I started making my own bone broth, like chicken bone broth, which I do quite enjoy. And so you just mentioned there about the metabolism. So, you know, is this going to like I should self-regulate by dropping and quitting sugar, right?
Yeah, look, I mean, I can almost guarantee you that your doctor's telling you to cut back on sugar if you have thyroid issues.
No, she didn't.
Yeah, probably. Well, maybe not, whatever.
Yeah.
But I've seen so many thyroid issues go into remission, it's not even funny. It's just kind of crazy at this point. And I personally believe that the thyroid disruptions are caused by sugar, period. And yes, you are going, if you're beginning emotions at day 5, you're starting to understand, and hopefully you're providing a teaching moment for everybody else on this line that it can happen day 1, but you know, day 5 is literally a very difficult time period.
Yes, it is.
You know, you're, especially if you gave up caffeine, sugar, and flour at the same time. Likely, some people.
I did. Yes,
Yeah.
I did. Although I didn't think I was having a lot of caffeine, but I was drinking green tea. And so I stopped that 2 days ago. But I tend to be a perfectionist, so I guess my question is, I'm not overdoing it, am I?
No, no, you're not overdoing
Like my body does feel rather quite stressed today, actually. It was great earlier, but it's not
you're
right
dead
now.
center in the middle of the worst part of the detox right now. Dead center. That's that, you know, for most people, day 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, you're going to feel a little bit weird for the next week or so, but the sun will come out. I guarantee it. And it will not, you know, now, what that said, the emotional part of this is, and again, we're not therapists, but like, this is very real, and it's something to be reckoned with, gang, something to be understood and something to be dealt with in a way that is acceptable. The body's never going to give you more than you can handle, but you do have to have other methods to self-soothe. You have to have walking, yoga, running, whatever it is. You have to have different methods to self-soothe. And so you can't just white knuckle it. You know, you've got to substitute those newer methods to help get through. And it also help you sleep, you know, those things. So hang in there, you know, please do exactly what you did right here at one of these meetings. You know what I mean? It's like, jump into the meeting and there's going to be 30 people that are going to jump on you and say, I went through the same thing, you know, and they're going to help you. So like, it's not just me, it's hardly me anymore. It's really, you know, 15 or 18 trained coaches and a lot of people with a year or 2 years and 3 years that are in there helping folks. So you're going to find somebody that's going to raise their hand or message you, say, you know, my thyroid was this, that, and the other thing, and help you keep on track. So please just jump in there and and stay after it. Okay.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's very, very helpful. You relieve my anxiety by telling me that I'm normal to be in the middle of this right now, because a lot of stuff from the past that
Okay.
I thought I'd dealt with is really hitting me hard.
Yep. Yep. And it will. And if you have a family thing coming up, it's might get worse. So it triggers stuff.
Yeah.
All righty. We have
you.
Carol up next. Thank you.
Hi, I'm kind of piggybacking off of what Debbie had asked.
Okay.
Yesterday I also asked a question, but today I'm 760 days sugar and flour free.
Nice.
And caffeine free. I gave it all up at the same time there. And Joanne, I had that awful feeling for about 2.5 weeks, and then I just bounced right back again. Felt better than I ever did before. My question is, I've been sugar, flour, and caffeine free for over 2 years, but I'm still an addict. I still know that. So is the right thing for me to be in the detox, or should I be in the detox to lifestyle? What do you think is, because like I said, I don't want to miss out anything in the learning curve, and I know I'm still an addict.
Right. No, I'd go to detox to lifestyle. And you know, when you get in detox to lifestyle, you're in detox, you can access the meetings anyway. So
Okay.
you're still in access in the meetings, but you want to get the Wednesday meeting is really good. It's like I don't mean this age-wise, but my old vets, you know, people grizzled, they've been around for like you know, 2-3 years, whatever. And they're just talking about life and, you know, addiction and health. And I call them tweakers because they're always bringing great research and always great, you know, always asking great questions of each other. I facilitate it, but it's a great meeting. It'll be our core meeting for a long time on Wednesdays. So yeah, I would do that. Just send me an email, info@Sugar Addiction. I'll get you a link.
All right. Thank you so much.
Because the link's a little different the way you do it. Yeah, John's up next. Okay. John Thompson or Dave. Okay, John, you're ineligible. What's that word? Unintelligible. You have a connection problem, John. If you can hear me, John, if you can hear me, if you're under John Thompson, you have a connection problem. We're going to have to mute you. Maybe try and fix your connection problem for us. Okay. All right. Thank you. Mary's up.
Is that the Mary L you're talking to?
What's that?
Mary L? Mary Laurie?
Mary L, yes, that's you.
Okay. Hi. I just joined. This is day 3 of prep week.
Yeah.
And I'm having a bit of I guess a mental meltdown. I'm anticipating a huge restriction coming on next week when day 7 starts and we're actually going into actual detox.
Right.
And so my mindset has been, instead of prep week going down in sugar, my thought has been, oh my goodness, I better eat everything now quickly because I feel a restriction coming on. My brain is like, so my question is, how do I change that mindset of restriction so that I don't feel compelled to rebel? I'm feeling like I'm rebelling right now. I have to quick eat everything because I'm never going to be able to eat again.
Yeah, no, that's very common. That's very
You
common.
are.
Don't worry about that. That's like the drinker who's going on his last bender before he goes to the tree.
Yes.
That happens all the time. But I want to warn you is that it will make the detox days harder. So try and, you know, ramp down a little bit. Not required, but try and ramp down a little bit. But the behavior is very normal, and you know, it should be hopefully a clue to why this is all going on with you in general, sugar addiction in general, that, as a grown adult that you're having this issue, you know what I mean? So yeah, don't beat yourself up about it. It's very common, but try and cut down as best you can.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Kelly's up next. Cool name. Kelly. Are you around? All right, gang, it's getting late. So if you guys want to hit Mike, quitsugarsummit.com/Mike, you can jump in the program with you. I'm going to go through these. Kelly, can you hear us over there? Off mute. Okay, so I'm going to put you back on mute. I'm going to hit these questions for a second. We got some people repeating, so I got to put my glasses on for all this. Okay, suddenly someone can't hear anything. That means they're.
God damn it.
All righty, so Dave, if you're still around, I'd love to be able to mute people, but I can't, so. Oh, I guess I was able to mute that. Maybe he fixed me. Hold on a second. Easier for me to find the person. There we go. I think we got one of them. Two of them. Three of them. Quieting down a little bit here. Let me see. Wow, 7 pages of people. That's a lot. I think we got everybody. All right, so let me keep going through the questions again on the chat. Another fruit question. Hopefully I answered that. Again, honey and fruit. Guys, this is just during the detox. Just try it out, okay? quitsugarsummit.com/Mike. Carla's doing bright line eating. These are the other items recommended by you. Fruit. Items not recommended. Fruit, oatmeal, rice. Not looking for wiggle room, just asking. Yeah, I mean, this is really what we call borderline foods. And when people heal up, the fruit, the oatmeal, and the rice starts to bother them. I can tell you my story. Like, I was 25 years in. This is Karen with an IN. Oh, no, wait, this is Carla, sorry. I was 25 years, no flour, no sugar, no caffeine, raised 2 sugar-free kids. And my gums bled every single day. I thought they bled. That's what they did. Like, that's what I thought gums were. I thought when you brush your teeth, your blood, that was what it was, because they had done it since I was a child. I had acne, adult acne in my 50s. I had these basal cells on my forehead because I lifeguarded with no hat or no sunscreen that were diagnosed by a doctor. And I was starting to get these brain lapses, right? And my mother at the time, and my father too, both are dying of Alzheimer's. And I talked to a woman at the Food Addiction Institute, and she'd been sober for 50 years and off flour, sugar, and grains and fruit for another 25 years, And so I gave that stuff up because I was always trying to figure it out. My gums started in 30 days, my gums stopped bleeding. I have had 5 pimples in 7 years. The basal cells literally went away. Diagnosed basal cells, then been looked at again by a doctor, have gone. They're gone. You can't see, but I've had a bunch cut off, And so, and then the brain cognitive stuff went away. It took about 6 months for that to go away, but that went away completely as well. So what had happened is I had healed for 25 years, but now my body was sensitive to the other fructoses and the other grains and flours and stuff, fruits and stuff. So, everybody's a little bit different. So anyway, Lee, what is the deadline to sign up? There's no deadline, Lee. Just jump right in anytime you want. I agree with Patrice. Honey from bees and farms is the best, not on the market. Fruits are seasonal. Look, Nicole, it's okay. You can do it whatever way you want. I'm just trying to make sure. Question, first name, last name, is quit sugar as good as Brightline or Kick Sugar? Every program is different. We've had a lot of Brightline and Kick Sugar people in our process, in our groups. They came over for one reason or another. Let's guess who you like. I want to do this, but I feel influenced by others, especially my husband, this is Michelle, who's certainly clearly a sugar addict. So I can't make any home sugar-free, my home sugar-free, and any suggestions to deal with living with sugar addicts. Of note, he enjoys having meals with me, so separate meals are difficult. Michelle, that's a tough one. We have an entire program in the core videos that will cover all that. And there are, I would guess 70% at least of the people, usually the women, but come in and they don't have their spouse's support. So you will find a bunch of support in the meetings for people that have that issue. So it's hard. It's easier when you do have the support. Cynthia, I hear about abstinence from sugar and flour. I can understand all of the cravings being gone, which is great. But if you got to someone's home or restaurant, it's hard to know if there's flour or sugar added to the food, even if there sounds like, yeah, I mean, Cynthia, again, pretty soon your reputation will precede you and they'll take care of you. But in the early days, you do have to set some boundaries. You do have to check ahead at restaurants and that kind of stuff. So yeah, please be careful there. But it is hard, or it's more difficult, but it's a lot easier with all the support that we provide. There's a lot of people that have been through this. Mikhail, who is interested in cancer and is not happening outside our bodies, please check. Yeah, Thomas. Okay. Best veg to eat? I would say green vegetables of all kinds. What magnesium cream? I don't really have a name. There was a woman that was on one of our summits, and I can't remember her name or her company, but you have to. Rebecca's not too tech savvy and how to raise my hand to ask a question. You just did. Somebody said, okay. All right, so I got more questions here. I know fruits are eaten by themselves, other foods. Slow down the sugar metabolism process. Robin with a Y is asking about the fruits. Look, guys, the fruit thing is difficult at the beginning.
You told me you need
it's not required. Let me see if I can fix that one.
mechanic in there. I'm trying to talk to you.
All right, guys, we're going to draw this to a close here in a minute, but I'm going to try and get more of these questions in. Thank you for re-educating us. Someone's glad they don't have a mic. Someone asked about sugar being the only enjoyable thing. I recommend dance, hiking, hot soaks in the bathtub, lighting candles, watching comedy. I love that, Jen. Thank you for that. There's a lot of self-care out there. Say thank you and throw it away. I like that. Tell everybody that I broke up with sugar long ago. Okay. I can see, this is a hard one, guys. Sarah says, I can see the addiction in my kids age 10 and 12. Where does a parent start? Sugar is everything. They both have digestion issues, and I've tried FODMAP with them. It's helpful, but it feels impossible. Okay. This is literally becoming a group, and definitely will be a group within our system very soon, Sarah. three things are happening. One, women or people who lose or feel like they've lost too much weight and had gone past their goal weight. Two, adults like you who believe they've goofed up their kids. And then the people who feel guilty that they've wasted their life. Those three groups have been like, literally, we're starting to get subgroups of those three groups. So that's part of the process. And you're not alone in that, and you didn't do anything wrong, but we have to start with you. We have to get your oxygen mask on first, Sarah. So please jump in the program. I'll put it down there one more time. Quit Sugar Summit /Mike. I can't do it because it moves my things, but I'll put it in a minute. What to say to your children when doing no sugar with them is hard for them. Don't do your Claire, don't do your kids yet. Just do you. Just like they say on the airline, put your own oxygen mask on first. Kids, depending on their age, if they're below 9, no problem. Above 9, 10, it starts to be harder. But below 9, once you get off sugar, you'll have no problem with them. What's a typical meal for me? Seafood, meat, chicken, and green vegetables is my typical meals. And I only eat once or twice a day. But I don't suggest intermittent fasting in the beginning. So beet powder and green powder, I add to my smoothies. No, 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 Ann, please. Sarah, what are the 4 borderline foods you just mentioned? Borderline foods are nuts and nut butters, fruit and fruit juices and dried fruit. No fruit juices, no dried fruit. There shouldn't even be on the borderlines, but fruit is on the borderline. Rice or grains and dairy. Those are the 4 borderline categories. What does hybridize mean? Hybridize means that man created it. When we first started with crab apples and blueberries, they were nasty like you see out in the wild. Today, that apple is a big sugar bomb that's been hybridized to increase its sweetness, its fructose. All right, looks like I'm getting near the end. Somebody got prescribed Osmepic, which is a diabetic thing for weight loss. We're not going to get into that. I would not do that. So excited, hardly wait. Very excited. It will keep being very strict. And all right. Nicole, erythritol, sugar, alcohol. Yeah, no sweeteners. All right, let me finish up the last few questions and we'll head out. Mikhail, go for it. Yeah. Yeah, it's a big topic, fruit. So we don't have time to go into it all, but there's a, you know, it's a big question for the cravings part of it. So, and organic is different, obviously. So, but thank you. I appreciate it. I got a good one down here, gang. Lisa, I am 3 weeks refined sugar free and my skin is healing. If I could convince women how different their skin will be when they quit sugar, I'd be a billionaire. I'm not kidding you. If I could just, take it from my brain and put it into your brain, if I could take a decade of experience and tens of thousands of people, and how many emails I've got of people, women telling me their skin is more beautiful, less blemished, less wrinkled, and more moisture, more moist. I swear there would, the makeup industry or whatever would be all over this. But it is absolutely true. My new CEO believes that this is where we should market, quote unquote, to women, to make women, men too, but mostly women understand that sugar dries your skin out. Sugar pulls water and nutrients from your skin. Collagen, it pulls collagen, it's so amazing. I get to see it right on Zoom, watch people get younger, right? So anyway, please, it's you talk about benefits. All right, Candy also says, my kids visiting the weekend, I thought of running sugar-free. Bring up. Yeah, okay. UK, it's 9 o'clock. Zoom user. In the UK, we've got a lot of meetings that work for the UK, a lot of them. Like somebody's got a magnesium. All right, gang, if I missed anything, just jump in, ask it to one of the coaches on the meetings, sugaraddiction.com/Mike. Please, if we've had fun today, if you've enjoyed yourself, if you learned something, if you think that, that you can beat this thing with some help, we're here to help you, okay? So check it out. Again, I think I just put it in there, but quitsugarsummit.com/Mike. I think 2 hours is long enough for anybody. And we will have fun inside the group. School, that people have been mentioning, is a platform that's off of Facebook. It's no longer on Facebook, the group, the inside the group. So you can, feel safe and comfortable in there. And that's where all the videos are. And that's where the, 16 meetings a day. The meetings are amazing. They're an hour long. They're all during different times, during different days. So you can, pick ones you like. And you'll be able to jump in and never be too far from one of my trained coaches to ask questions to. And just check it out. I mean, it's like 100% money back guarantee. If it doesn't work for you, if you don't like us, if whatever, please just, don't let this go by. You know what I mean? Don't let this, issue that you were willing to spend 2 hours with me on go by because we're, whatever, a money issue or whatever. If you have questions about the detox to lifestyle, please write me. For the detox to lifestyle, those are people who are already in the sugar detox that we have. And that is info@sugaraddiction.com. I'll send you a link so you can just get in that. It's a little different. It's the second step, right? And the people are just getting in. You'll be presented with that as well, and you can join it up for a reduced rate right away. So there's a lot of ways to join us. We've got an a la carte menu for everybody who wants to, who really wants to do this thing. So please join us. We'd love to have you. I know we can help if sugar is your issue. All right, gang. A couple hours in, we're going to call it a day. I'm going to stop the recording so Dave has it. And we will talk to you guys real.
Recording stopped.
Take care. Sugar-free man signing out.